Thank you so much.
Very excited. She's the president of HR Maximizer, and we've been working together for, my goodness, 7 or 8 years now.
It's going to be 8 in March. Yeah.
8 years. Wow. That's awesome. Okay. And then at the bottom down here, but she's not the bottom. She's not the bottom. She's just the bottom on the screen. Okay. She's really at top in my book. We have Marissa Hooker. She's HRIS specialist. She's part of our operations team. She also runs our talent acquisition projects, a good portion of them. Welcome to the show, Miss Marissa Hooker.
Hey, everyone.
All right. Well, guys, if you're just now signing in, let us know where you're signing in from, what city, what state, what country. We're here talking about talent acquisition. We're talking about how to develop a video strategy, a winning video strategy to really procure or attract those very, very tough candidates. Now, this is a space we've been living in for the past, I don't know how many years now, but we are definitely focused, number one, on healthcare, and number two, on hard to fill positions. Now, you may be in another industry, but I think this is still going to help you. This session is going to help each of you who are watching, whether you're a hiring manager, an executive, or a recruiter, any one of those. I think it's really going to be effective for you. Don't think that just because you aren't technically a recruiter that this isn't going to be important to you. It's going to be important because we're going to actually explain it in a way that really anyone in the organization can understand it and be able to kind of see how important this is in your overall recruitment strategy. If it's missing, and if you have one, if you have a video strategy, perhaps how you might be able to improve it. And I sent a couple of things in a list, Marissa and Lee. I don't know if you saw that, but it was just a list of things that I was thinking that we could kind of just touch on as parts of our service. But Leah, I'd like you to start off. If you were just kind of encapsulate and explain to someone who knows nothing about video strategy or recruitment video strategy. They know about videos, they know about recruitment, but they don't know really how to develop a recruitment video strategy. How would you explain what that is?
How would I explain our recruitment video strategy?
Or just a winning one in general?
I think the most important thing about any video strategy is meeting the audience or the consumer or the candidate where they're at. And, we're in 2022 and almost everyone around the world right now has a cell phone, and they consume video more than they consume any other type of media. And so rather than posting jobs and praying that people apply, or utilizing older, maybe more outdated methods, using video to directly market and speak to potential candidates is the absolute best way to get a big audience and to get a lot of candidates.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate that. And then Marissa, from your standpoint, anything you would add to that, or what ways have you, because I like to hear different ways of people explaining it. What do you think is involved in a winning recruitment strategy?
To me, I think it really depends on authenticity and variety. People are used to kind of those staged videos, but whenever it comes to employment, they want to know exactly what they're getting into, but also from all levels of the organization. So you don't want just the executives and you don't want just the entry level. You want a good variety, and speaking from their heart and from how they personally feel about the company, about the organization, their role and their team. To me, that is what people are really looking for.
Now, I'm noticing as I go look on LinkedIn right now, I'm not seeing a screen. So I see black. It's just an all black screen. I'm not sure why that's happening. So are you able to see the screen on your end, Joanne or Amanda? The good news is I got everything recorded. Everything's being recorded as we speak. So we're not going to lose. That was some great stuff you guys just mentioned. And I know there's quite a few folks that are actually on here waiting for us to come online here.
And it just looks like a black screen to me as well.
Did everyone accept the recording thing part? We did that part, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. It just said the live video has ended.
Okay.
So we might have to just start over again.
So Amanda, on your end, all you see is a black screen? Okay. Oh, so Joanne says we're live on Restream app online. Does that mean, do you see a black screen or are you seeing a black screen as well?
When I just went and looked, yes.
Because I'm looking right now and it actually shows us on Vimeo, which is interesting. But on LinkedIn, it's a black screen.
Hmm.
Joanne says she can see us. And let's see, are they able to hear sound? Let's see if they're able to hear sound. I'm just gonna check the sound here. Testing. Yeah, it's on LinkedIn, it's kind of acting crazy. So let me just quickly go into, and there's quite a few people that are waiting to watch too. So what I would suggest, Joanne, is to turn off LinkedIn and then turn it back on. Okay, now she says all good on Restream. Let me hit refresh to see if I'm catching video here. Interesting. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. So everything is showing up on Restream. I would say just turn off just the LinkedIn and then turn it back on, Joanne. Because right now it's not coming through for some reason. The screen's not coming through. Okay, so she just hit the looks like it might be a LinkedIn issue. So she just turned off LinkedIn and she turned it back on. Hopefully that will fix it. If you can see us, please let us know. If you can see us and hear us. Looks like LinkedIn is having some issues right now. Are we live on YouTube or on Facebook? Okay, so what we'll do is let's direct everybody to YouTube. Who's not able to see it, we can direct them to YouTube. Let's give them the YouTube address. So we're going to just keep going, guys. That's just all it's part of life and part of live, right? And then on top of that, LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn to death, but sometimes they just have some issues with their live platform. Not sure why, but they just do. And so this is just one of those times when they do. So we'll just accept it. Hopefully we'll come on live. Just quite a few folks are actually waiting to watch us. So let's give them a link how they can watch it on YouTube. So let's get going with our program. Now let me ask you this, Joanne. Did they see the whole thing on YouTube? Did they see the beginning part? In other words, do we need to start from the beginning or? Yeah, still nothing on LinkedIn. The only thing I can say we could do if we really want to is we could. That wouldn't be the issue. I'm just trying to think what in the world, why would it show on YouTube and Facebook, but not on LinkedIn? Let me check one other thing. To see if I can troubleshoot this. So it's just a mystery. as to why it's not working here. Let me check something here. Bitrate 30. Yeah, I can still, we're looking great on Restream. So I don't understand why it's not on, but let me just check something really quickly. And it says we're live online on LinkedIn. So I'm going to, yeah, that's a strange thing. We're coming through, but there's no picture. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, I just kind of pushed it again to see if it will come on. Ah, there we go. I think I just saw it. Oh, then it disappeared. That is crazy. Okay, it looks like there's some issues. There's still some issues with it though. It shows that we're live. Okay, it does show that we're live. And you can verify this, Joanne, on your end. Yeah. So we're live online. So let's just start from the top, guys.
I see us.
Yeah. So those of you who are on YouTube and Facebook, we apologize to you that for whatever reason, LinkedIn did not have their act together. Okay. For some reason, it did not come on. And that's where most of our audience is. So the guys, those of you who are on LinkedIn, hopefully you can see us. Hopefully you can hear us okay. We're going to get right into it. This is not going to be a normal length of our sessions. It'll be a little bit shorter session today, but we want to give you some actionable items, some actual tools to help you to either refine or create your video strategy for recruiting hard to find talent. So first of all, I'm very excited about these two guests I have on the show. This is very rare that I have these two on the show. And so I'm extra excited about that. They happen to work with me and I work with them. We're all part of HR Maximizer Inc. and we help companies to create and refine their recruitment strategies when it comes to video. So the president of our company, which is right over here to my left or my right, one of those, Leah Ramsey, she's the president of HR Maximizer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I am happy to be here today.
We've been working together for 8 years now. It's been a great 8 years. You've seen a lot of changes during your time. We're going to tap into some of the changes you've seen as it relates to video strategy and recruitment. And then I'm also very excited about having Marissa right here. Marissa's right over here. She is part of our operations team. She helps us with, she's HRIS specialist as well as talent acquisition project manager. So thank you for being on the show today, Marissa.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to adjust this volume here. And guys who are just coming in, let us know where you're signing in from, what city, what state, what country. And hopefully, I'm going to look at the comments. Hopefully, I got some of my very valued and very esteemed clients on as well. Who knows? Maybe they jumped on to give us a shout out as well. But very excited about having all of you here. And let us know where you are in your strategy. Have you already started your recruitment strategy using video? Do you have a strategy? If not, hopefully we'll give you some ideas that'll help you with that. So first of all, Leah, let me let you do this. Can you explain to us just in your own terms, when you think of a recruitment strategy that involves video or recruitment video strategy, what does that mean to you? What's part of a winning strategy in your eyes?
So for me, part of a winning strategy for recruitment video is first of all, making videos that people are going to watch. And you need to meet the consumer or the customer or the candidate wherever they're at. And we know that that's online. We know that people all over the world are on their cell phones every single day. And we also know that video is the #1 source of information for over 70% of people who use the internet. So video is being consumed at the highest rates it's ever been consumed. And it is a great way to market your open positions, your organization, your company culture, and just meeting the people where they're at. And that's online, watching videos.
Absolutely. Okay. Now for you, Marissa, what, from your standpoint, what's a winning strategy for you?
To me, it would be authenticity and variety. People, especially if they're looking for a job, they want to see a realistic view of that organization. They don't want the canned or staged responses or the commercials where everything looks perfect. They really want a real look at who they're going to be with and what the organization is like, their surroundings. And so providing that, but then also giving them a look at all the different levels within the organization, all the different environments, departments, however it is, giving them a variety, whether it's from the executives all the way down to the entry levels, from the front desk to a clinic room, since we do operate in that healthcare space. But that wide variety while also maintaining your authenticity, I think is a key element of a winning strategy for videos.
Awesome. Okay, that's great. Love that. Okay, so what I would like us to do is let's kind of, I've got a few things listed out in terms of bullets, and I'd love for each of you to kind of give your, thoughts on each of those. And you don't have to comment on all of them, but just ones that kind of, more resonate more with you. And we can kind of take a few of those. And I had them up in front of me and I need to get them back up again. But one of the things that we talked about as far as a winning strategy, #1, is to find out the needs. What are the real needs? Okay, what are the real needs of the organization? So I think, Leah, you usually initiate a lot of those discussions. So what are some things you want to find out when you're meeting with a hiring manager, a client, to figure out what's the pain point, what's the needs, what are some key pieces of information that you need to kind of to formulate this strategy, see if it's even calls for video?
Yeah, so we always meet with a client first before doing any video shoot. And I think any recruiter or company that works in HR does the same thing. And they find out, what the position is, what the hard to fill positions are, the departments they work in, what the schedule is going to be like. You really want to know the specifics about the job, not only to create the job posting, which is very different from a job description, but also to understand who you're going to be marketing to, who your audience is. Are these people in a certain geographic area? Are they people with a certain degree or certification? Are they people with a certain amount of experience? Are they people from a certain, specific agency or company? You really need to know the very granular specifics of who they're searching for and who is the perfect candidate, rather than just like generalization, like we're looking for a nurse. It's not enough. We definitely need to know the specifics, what type, years of experience, and the very, very specific things that they're looking for.
Okay, you know what? Show must go on. This is great stuff you guys are giving us. For whatever reason, LinkedIn has now went to the black screen. I do not understand why they went to that, but I'm not even going to worry about that. We're just going to keep rolling with this. Everything's going to be recorded. So hopefully, and it looks like we're back on again. Hopefully, if you're seeing this, and I apologize in advance on LinkedIn's behalf, because I think it's clear on YouTube and Facebook. But we're going to keep going with this, and we are recording this so you guys can look at this later in its entirety. Okay. One of the things I'll probably like to just see what you have to say on this, Marissa, but in terms of the audience, does that determine maybe how you configure the postings or formulate the kind of that whole landing page experience? Does that affect that at all for you?
100%. Whenever it comes to the audience, Leah brought out how you have to know your audience in order to appeal to them. And so you could fill your landing page or you could fill your job posting with all sorts of information. And if it's not geared towards your audience, or if it doesn't appeal to those you're trying to reach, it doesn't matter. You could have the best benefits package in the world. You could have the latest, most up-to-date facilities. And if you don't present that in a manner that appeals to your audience, you're not going to get those candidates, especially for those hard to fill jobs or those that require a bit more, or the field is much more narrow than some others. So knowing that knowing your audience, knowing kind of their mindset, what they're looking for, will greatly impact, or it should greatly impact how you configure your job posting. Not like Leah mentioned, that is the job posting is going to vary greatly from the job description. So your job posting needs to have the information your audience is looking for. Your landing page needs to be geared towards your audience and present the videos, the information, the jobs that they actually care about.
Absolutely. Makes 100% sense to me. One of the things that I also wanted to just mention is that we like to also have the job postings available right there inside the job itself. And what's that process that you use when you're determining what video should be used on the posting itself once the candidate lands there? What's kind of part of your thought process on that?
So our videos, we approach them, they're realistic job previews. So they should talk about the job that, or the posting that they're part of. So if you're looking for an emergency room nurse, you're not going to have a labor and delivery nurse video on there. You want to make sure that it's meeting the nurse or the potential candidate where they are. It's something that they're going to be interested in. And you don't have to shy away from the acronyms or the really technical terms, because you're coming to those who already know what they are. So whenever they see that and they see that their coworkers or even just this job posting has the knowledge base that they should, then they're much more likely to want to engage, to complete that application, and making sure that your application process is short and easy. If your candidate is having to go through this 10-minute long application process every single time, you're going to end up losing them. They may only apply once and then they're like, forget it. If it's, here's my resume, here's the answer to 3 to 5 questions that are really easy to answer, then they're willing to come back and keep trying again.
Absolutely. By the way, I see you here, James Henry. He's coming in. He says live on Zoom via LinkedIn. He's an epidemiology case investigator. Appreciate you being here, coming from Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you for joining us, and appreciate all of you who have kind of weathered through the storm of some of these difficulties with the live. In fact, Joanne, if you could kind of ping some of those folks who were on it originally, make sure let them know that looks like everything is pretty smooth and we're online. I am seeing us clearly here. Okay, so that's very good information. One of the things I'll also add too is that I think that a lot of us who are HR executives, HR recruiters who are watching this, and those who aren't, we think of how the internet was 15 or 20 years ago when it was search based. So if I wanted to search for something, and I still use it that way now, like let's say if I'm in a new area, I'm looking for a pizza place or something like that. I might hit in a search thing, pizza place, and I might go on Google Maps and search that. Actually, I probably wouldn't go on Google for that. But there's certain things I'm searching for on the internet. And then when I find that, I act on that link. And then that link or that interaction is satisfied, and I'm moving on to something else. Okay, so that's search based. Everything's intentional. We're assuming that a person who's looking for a job is going to do a search on Google to find us. That's the way I thought. That's the way you thought. That's the way the internet used to work. But the internet works less on that now and more so on audience base. So all of us interact with the internet in a certain way, whether it's whatever I do on YouTube, whatever I do on Amazon, whatever I do on LinkedIn, whatever platform I'm using, I'm going to interact in a certain way on it. And it's going to be different from you. So we're going to have different interests, different things that we act on. So therefore, the internet has advanced so far that we can determine with a relatively high level of accuracy who's, for instance, a registered nurse versus who's a therapist versus who's a physician. Without knowing the individual, just based on their behavior on the internet, we know that they're probably part of that audience. So what's so important about what Leah and Marissa was talking about, because we keep our audience in mind and everything is centered towards that audience, our content doesn't have to be content that appeals to everyone. It only needs to appeal to our audience. And so once we create that content, we want to make sure that that content goes to those specific people that we want to receive the message. And when you get them to that landing page, you want to make sure that their experience is one that that type of person would want to have. So you can fill in the blank, whether it's technicians or if it's a nurse, if it's physician, whatever your audience is, you want to make sure that that content is catered towards them. And one of the things I noticed you said, Marissa, you talked about don't be afraid to use some jargon, right? Because that particular audience is going to understand the jargon.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about who is it important to have involved in this process to create videos? If you can think of all the people, Leah, that should be involved in that process, who should be involved, do you think, when we're coming up with a strategy and implementing this strategy?
So in healthcare, I think frontline staff, the people that are going to be this individual's, the new candidate, the new position, their colleagues. So you want their colleagues, you want people that they see and work with every day. You want supervisors, people that they're going to report to. You also, I think it's very useful to also have executives, and they help set the tone of the mission, vision, and values of the organization, and really kind of explain the broader aspect of the organization that they work for. And then the people that are colleagues or supervisors, they're going to explain the more specifics about the position, about the day-to-day in what they're working on and what it's going to be like to work there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. So, and then Marissa, you have anything you want to add to that? Who should also be involved in that process of creating videos, being in the videos? I mean, as you think back, what makes it a successful campaign generally?
So like Leah said, I think that all of those are really important to have in the videos, but whenever it comes to actually creating them, it can get to be a very extensive team, making sure that the videos look good, that they're reaching the audience that they need to. So the HR team needs buy-in, your marketing team, they're going to have their own approach to it. And it's useful because whenever you combine the HR and marketing, you're having those two different thought processes whenever it comes to the content for these videos. It's not just your consumer or patient focus like marketing may have, and then HR is focused solely on bringing in those candidates. But whenever you're able to successfully combine those two, then you're going to have a really well-rounded video that is going to appeal to your audience. And then also just producing the videos themselves, that very extensive team, as I know you're well aware, Raleigh. You have your videographer, you have the editors, you have a colorist, which I just learned about recently. You have those who are working on sound, on all sorts of aspects of these videos to make sure that they are that top quality and really high level production that is going to make sure that that authentic and realistic content that you've gotten from your team members is going to look professional while still maintaining that true nature of themselves.
Absolutely. I love that. I think that each one of our projects has gotten better and better the more we're able to collaborate with more folks on their team. Like, of course, obviously in the video, like what Leah mentioned, you want to have your frontline staff members, you want to have your hiring managers, you want to have your executives. But then when I think about all the other folks who are involved with making those videos a success, it's a big list of folks, and a big part of that I think is the client. And so if we've got some DIYers who are actually watching this, and you're trying to figure out how to do it on your own, to me, if I were in your shoes, I would definitely want to incorporate videoing or recording just footage of those hiring managers, those frontline staff, as well as the executives on the executive team. But to really up that production quality, like what Marissa's talking about, it really helps if you have a full scale team of video folks. And I'll just touch on a few people who you want to have on your team at minimum. And then next level, I'll give you some ideas on that. But in terms of the organization, I would say in addition to all the ones that you guys mentioned, or let me just kind of drill down on part of what Marissa was saying, certain key members of the marketing team, it is good to have them involved, or corporate communications, because they may have some certain things that can or can't be done in terms of the logo usage, the fonts that are used. Those are all things that kind of play into it. And that's very important. So we do like and appreciate having that relationship. We also appreciate having those who are executive members of the HR team involved. I know a lot of cases with a lot of the companies we work with, we have very good working relationships with not just the recruiters and the directors, but also even the C-suite level of HR, such as the CHRO and senior vice presidents of HR. So I think that's also important, as everyone is kind of bought into the process. But in terms of the videos, I understand when people tell me, oh, we have a video person, and that has value. That's great. That's great that you have a video person. But we found that it takes a whole lot more than that to really make up a successful team. I know on our team, we have roughly about 8 members on our team currently, and you have some that just, all they do is just, well, actually more like 10. All they do is just shoot the video, right? They're just shooting the video. So they're filming them. And that's important. Having someone who can film good video, high quality cameras, 4K is recommended. But having good quality equipment, having great sound equipment is super important. And of course, great lighting. But in addition to that, that's just a small piece of it. That's actually not the hardest part. The hardest part is actually editing it and formatting it for the particular platforms that we're going to use. That's the part that's harder. And that part of our team is much larger than the filming team.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the folks who we talk to don't realize that it's great you have a video guy or a video lady who records them, and maybe they do some editing on the side. But it's just not the same level as having a full scale team where you've got, like, I know on our end, we have someone who really watches the captions. That's very important, because, just using an auto caption generator that's available on these social media platforms, they're going to probably be about 80 to 90% accurate, but it's that 10 to 20% it's going to kill you. That 10 to 20% that it gets wrong, it's going to be nonsensical when it comes across the captions, because it's going to try and guess what some of those medical terms are, and it's not going to be correct. So you want to have someone on the team who can determine that. Of course, great grammar, that's going to be a minimum, right? Well, I know one of the things I appreciate about you, Leah, is that you're one of the first ones that says, look, we got to have somebody on the team that can tell me about that, how you feel about that, because I want to hear the audience to hear this. I know a lot of folks in HR and executives will probably agree with you on this.
We just needed somebody on the team that was, a copy editor, a proofreader, that was extremely proficient in written communication, that can convey messages and that can catch little mistakes. They make a big difference. And I know that all of the corporate marketing that we work with for the different clients, they are very appreciative of it. And they work, these are things that they catch, and they don't have to worry about that anymore. And if you rely on just the kind of the machine learning caption generator, you're right. You're definitely going to get 80%, but it doesn't make sense. And you see a lot on a lot of social media platforms, and you can sometimes figure out what the video is saying, but there's really no reason to leave it up to chance. Really having perfect, exact captions is definitely the way to go.
Absolutely. And I've also noticed this, that, with the captions, there's a lot of organizations that will create these videos and either don't have captions at all, or make the person have to turn them on. And
Right.
just for those who are watching, just know that people are not used to having to do that, because you're in social media. A lot of these things, the captions they just come with it. They don't have to click anything, and then the captions just come on. I've actually talked to several nurses, for example, that don't even watch videos that don't have captions on them. One of the report I read from Verizon, they're 70% less likely to watch videos that don't have captions. So we're talking about people who are hearing people, that just, so it doesn't matter whether you feel that you're going to use it for the purposes of serving the non-hearing part of our population. If that's very important, but in addition to that, even hearing people definitely want to have those captions. They may be not in a position to turn the sound on. So it just helps to have that. I noticed Prince is it. Prince Anyanwu, welcome at PCMH. He's a coordinator at Valley Health Team. So appreciate you being here. Also, Julie Burks coming in from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and Prince is from Fresno, California. So I appreciate that. Thanks. Keep chiming in with those comments. Let us know where you are in your video strategy. Are you using video? Is video something you've watched in the past that helped to generate your interest in a particular position? Okay. One of the things I do want to do, just to take a little bit of a breather here, and we can take a little water break breather, but I want to ask you guys a little question here, a little fun question. Those who are watching, I want you to answer the question too, but I'm going to ask Marissa and Leah this question here. All right. So my question is, do you ever eat lunch outside? If so, where?
Like outside in the elements or outside of the home?
Just outside the elements. Yeah. Whether you're at a restaurant or at home.
Maybe outdoors?
Outdoors.
Yeah, absolutely. When it's nice out, Texas definitely has that patio season, which is usually in the early spring and the late fall or early fall. Not as much in the summer in Houston, and never in the winter, but definitely we eat outside for sure.
Now, when you go to a restaurant, do you eat outside too, or just when you're at home?
Depending on the restaurant, yeah, of course. And like the ambiance, if it's like on a busy street and it's crowded or whatever, no way. But when it's really nicely done, of course, I love eating outside, I guess.
Okay, guys, in the comments, let me know, do you ever eat outside? What's your favorite setting when you do eat outside? Is it at home? Is it a restaurant? Do there have to be special conditions like what Leah mentioned? Marissa, what about you?
Not a question I've ever thought about, but thank you for asking.
So I think you're probably familiar with this, Rollis, from pre-COVID. I was not a fan of eating outside. I am like a bug magnet. Doesn't matter what kind of bug it is, they find me. And it drove me insane having to eat outside. So not a huge fan of it. And I do try to avoid it. Although recently, I was in New York and I loved their little, like they have the little stands outside, right? They're like these little structures with like the outdoor seating, and they were always so nice. And they had the like stuff to keep bugs out. English partitions, yeah, thank you, or like glass or whatever it was, but it would keep the bugs away, and they would have like the heaters, and so it was really nice. I enjoyed that. I would do that, but I think technically at that point I'm probably indoor dining again, so I don't know if that counts.
So Prince says, hey, he prefers eating at home, round table setting. Okay, now you're eating at home. Are you outside at home or are you inside at a round table? I'm assuming he's probably meaning inside, probably.
James says that he prefers waterfront seating. And
waterfront. Yes.
Very much agree.
Yes.
And Julie said that on the beach. On vacation, I love eating. Like I love that as well. It's super fun.
Oh yeah.
Okay, vacation is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we go to the resort, I love eating at the right on the beach. Just get my little meal out there, just chill, eat right there on the beach. I love that. Okay, great. That's great. Let's get back into the heart of the discussion while we're all here, which is recruitment. Okay, recruitment videos. All right, I wanted to talk about length of videos. We have been all over the place. I remember when we used to have long videos, like 3-minute videos.
Those were hard. Let's just be honest. You got to have some really good content to keep people for 3 minutes.
Yeah. So what do you guys suggest for those who are watching? What do you suggest as far as length of video based on what we've seen in the past, several months?
You just said to those watching. Are you talking to Marissa and I?
Oh, did I say? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I meant to you. I don't know who you want to answer.
Leah and Marissa.
We don't know.
What's the right length of the video in your opinion? What do you think?
My opinion is 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
Anything longer than that, you have to have a very specific audience, which is okay. But right at about a minute, great attention span. You can get a lot of information in 1 minute.
Okay, very good. How about you, Marissa? What are your thoughts? And as in comments, I do want to hear your opinions too, but go ahead, Marissa.
I agree with Leah, 30 seconds to a minute, especially whenever you're approaching videos from a recruitment standpoint. Any longer, then it comes across as really dry and you're just like, okay, this is going on too long.
Yeah.
You could have gotten to the point 2 minutes ago. And
So-
then any shorter, and you're kind of like, wait, you didn't actually answer any of my questions. So for me, I think 30 seconds to a minute is like that perfect amount to where I've got the answers I need. And if I have another question or if I'm still wondering about it, I can go find another video.
Yeah. I love that. That's key. Okay. So Julie says she thinks 30 seconds. Okay, very good. And James says no more than 1:15. And actually, James, I would agree with you. And I was agreeing with you up until a few weeks ago. Here's why my thought has changed, why it needs to be a minute. Is if you don't limit it to a minute, it's going to preclude the last 15, it's going to exclude the last 15 seconds of your video. Well, they're only going to give you a choice. You can trim either the first 15 seconds or the last 15 seconds or a combination of both, but you can only do 60 seconds on Instagram Reel and YouTube Shorts. That would automatically preclude you from those two platforms if you want to do that. It's going to automatically, once it goes over 60 seconds, it's going to move you over to the regular YouTube, which is brutal on as far as exposure. Instagram Reels, very similar. You can go over 60 seconds, but you won't be able to stay on Reels. It's going to go on the other part of Instagram, which you're not going to get near as much visibility. So these are important things that we've just kind of learned through trial and error. TikTok, you can do over 60 seconds on TikTok now. They just added 3 minutes, but I can tell you, what's that?
I said nobody likes that.
Yeah, right now, if you're over a minute, which I can tell you, I've got several of mine that are over a minute and they're almost 3 minutes long. The average watch time on those is very short. So I love your answer, James. The only limitation I would say is that the platforms themselves are limiting it. On LinkedIn, you can actually go up to 10 minutes. Prince says 5 minutes. Okay, what's the 5 minutes related to? Is that how long you think the video should be? Now, just so you know, our analytics have been telling us that whenever we get the videos between 30 seconds to a minute, the viewability and the engagement goes up like a lot whenever we decrease those times. And we used to have 1 minute to 2 minute videos. There was a time period early on we had 2 to 3 minute videos on our recruitment ads, and those, I would say in those cases, roughly 75% of those videos never got seen because they just wouldn't last. They'd have to be extremely interested in order to watch the whole thing. But yeah, I'd love to hear, Prince, what that 5 minutes is associated with. Okay. So we're on LinkedIn video. And another thing I'll also share with you guys who are watching is that we find that roughly about 50% of the people who watch our recruitment videos watch more than one before they actually click on the ad. So don't get discouraged if you've got one video and it's not performing very well. You just need to create more of them and make sure that they're able to see those videos more than once, and they're more likely to take a buying action. Okay, Prince says the average video of what time on both LinkedIn, IG, and YouTube is 5 minutes. Okay, so and this is a great thing that Prince is mentioning. So what I'll say to that, Prince, is that there's two parts of each platform when we're talking about Instagram and we're talking about YouTube, as well as really TikTok. Instagram, the overall application, you can do lives, you can do posts, you can do stories, you can do stuff in the feed, and you can do the reels. So in order to qualify for reels, which is the part of Instagram that they're really promoting right now, that's where you're going to get the most visibility for your ads. Most people are using the reels now. In order to stay in that platform, the absolute max is 60 seconds. James said, and then same thing on YouTube Shorts. Regular YouTube, yes. What Prince is saying is yes. But when you're talking about YouTube Shorts, the absolute maximum is 1 minute. Anything over 60 seconds will not be played on YouTube Shorts. James says, do you think TikTok has an audience yet? That's correct. Absolutely. I'm so glad he said this. Okay. Let's touch on that.
I was just going to say, it's astounding how many people are searching content on TikTok, specifically about careers, about job searching. There's a huge movement on TikTok right now about salary transparency, and people are like public sourcing documents that they're sharing their salaries from all different industries. It is huge. The job market on TikTok is insane right now.
Yeah, it's Yeah, it's awesome. And so Prince makes a comment that I hear a lot, and I think it's there's a lot of truth to it. But then at the same time, I think that there's also a part that's missing that I'm going to add a piece for you, Prince. He says, I don't do TikTok. I don't consider it scholarly enough to feed me. That there's a level of truth to that in depending on how you've interacted on the platform, right?
Yeah.
So if you've interacted with a lot of the part of the platform that is not scholarly, it's going to show you more of it. And TikTok it's got a great algorithm, so it's going to create more opportunities for you to get that kind of content that's, as he puts it, non-scholarly. But if you go in TikTok and you're always searching for scholarly stuff, like let's say it's careers on TikTok or doctors on TikTok, nurse on TikTok, they have billions of views. Lots of people follow them. Depending on what you're searching for, you will get that scholarly content you're looking for. You'll get lives, you'll see posts that has to do with that, but it has to depend on what a person actually watches, not your intent, but what your behavior is, right? So whatever you watch on the platform, keep in mind, guys, there's over 1 billion users a month that watch this thing, TikTok, and they spend over 50 minutes per day on it. So trust me, there's a lot of scholarly people on TikTok and they're sharing scholarly content, but it's not going to show it to you unless you actually engage with more of that content. Marissa, I know you use TikTok as well. What are your thoughts on the platform in terms of scholarly content and opportunities to recruit?
I would say I do see where Prince is coming from, but like you were saying, that does all depend on how you actually interact with the app. And even going back to what we said about your behaviors in other areas online will influence what appears there. So I do not work directly in healthcare. I work in healthcare recruiting, yet I have a large number of healthcare or nurse focused videos that appear on my TikTok simply because of my behavior online whenever it comes to work that's impacting what shows up in my, we'll say, recreation time, my off hours. And so it does, even if you're not going or you see these social media platforms as being separate, nothing is truly separate today. Everything is constantly interacting with each other. Everything is constantly influencing and that algorithm and impacting what is going to show up on your feed. So if at any point you're looking up jobs or career advice or anything like that, even if you're just doing a Google search, going back to that search-based internet usage, the algorithm will know that, and it's going to start filtering in content related to that on your social media. And so you're never, you can't really say that it's going to be one or the other today. Everything is all going to be mingled and connected, and you can't view it as just a social media platform whenever it can also be a really good platform to get that scholarly advice and to get the career advice, career goals, or even just notifying you when a new position is open at an organization that you're interested in.
One thing that's, oh, sorry. One thing that's kind of interesting is, so I have two different phones. I have my work phone and my personal phone, and I downloaded TikTok on both of them. So I have two different accounts. And my, are you playing some nice R&B jams?
Oh, so is something coming through? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. I was about to put TikTok up on the screen and show our audience an example of what you guys are talking about. Sorry about that. I was wondering why you're looking at me. I can't even hear that.
For the audience that's watching, this is our
The audience
in
is
our
hearing
daily
it too.
lives.
I apologize, guys.
It's okay. Well, but what I was saying is I have a work phone and a personal phone, and I have two different TikTok accounts. And on my personal one, I use it for entertainment, like watch hilarious videos or things I'm interested about. And that one is a totally different side of TikTok than my work one, which I do a lot of searches online specifically for career development, seeing what other organizations are doing. One of the big things right now is a lot of large corporations have very specific content strategies. I don't know if you've seen this, you should look it up, Google it. The Duolingo person that runs their TikTok like blew up and became a star. Like it's a random app that you learn languages on, and they were so relevant for weeks. They had, the social media mentions of this Duolingo person were just phenomenal. So the amount, like Ross said, they have over 1 billion users. You can look up what hashtags are being followed, like jobs, hashtag jobs has 1.8 billion views. So, you probably don't want to do that one, but you can get a little bit more niche and find something with a couple 100,000 views, and you will see a lot of content. And we just gave everybody a really good TikTok tutorial, I suppose.
Yeah, I didn't.
Never in my life thought this would be a real thing.
I never thought.
Here we are.
Okay. So I want the folks who are watching to think about this for a second. Roughly about 140 to 150 million people are on TikTok in the US. Okay. Now I said billion. That's worldwide. Just the US 150. Now let's put that in perspective. There's only about 329 million people who live in the US. So roughly just under half the population is using the app. I'm gonna guess there's a lot of scholarly people in that 150 million that may not be on LinkedIn. In fact, I did a post on my own a network, what do you call it? A poll? Yeah, a poll. I did a poll on my LinkedIn not long ago. And there was, I would say somewhere around 5% of my network was on TikTok. 5%, that's small. So that what that taught me is, and I have 30,000 in my network, okay? So what that taught me is a lot of people who are on TikTok who aren't necessarily on LinkedIn. So if I was, as a recruiter, if I say, you know what, I'm only going to just put my jobs out on LinkedIn, man, I am missing like a huge portion of the population. So we've learned that just through trial and error, that there's a lot of folks that are engaging on that platform that just aren't here right now. There's a lot of folks who I'm connected with on TikTok. I have 2,000 followers. They don't follow me on LinkedIn. In fact, I don't even know if they even have a LinkedIn profile. Let me show you an example of my page to give you an idea, just for a second. It's so as you can see here, it's got. Let's see if I can turn it here. It's got 2,050 followers, almost 6,000 likes. I've only been doing this for a couple of months now, but you can see all of my videos are talking videos. You don't see any videos of me dancing or lip syncing or anything like that. They're all talking, and they're career related videos. And I would encourage you guys to do the same thing. Just try it out. Go on the platform, look up some hashtags. I'll give you one example for nurse, the nurse hashtag. Let's see here. Nurse. If I hit the nurse hashtag, let me see if I can find one on here. Do you guys see the hashtag? Oh, here we go. Nurse of TikTok. Nurse of TikTok. 6.2 billion views on TikTok.
6.2 billion.
6.2 billion. If I just say nurse, the last time I checked, nurse. Let's see here, top. Here we go, right here. If I click on nurse right here, 20.4 billion views. So trust me, there are a lot of folks on TikTok that are definitely like, just this is one example. I mean, there's tons of other examples, but there's a lot of people who are on this platform that oops, I'm trying to get out of this thing. Trying to get out of this thing live.
Oh goodness.
Let me see if I can move this out of the way. Now I'm done. Where's my bar? I don't see the bar to unshare this thing.
Check your other screen.
Oh, here it is. Oh, it's way over here. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Okay, we've got so many more topics to cover, but we don't have any more time, guys. We really appreciated all you guys who are watching today. We're out of time. It became a TikTok tutorial. Yasmin says, TikTok helped me a lot in my English as a non-native language, which I didn't actually expect. And Prince says, thank you. I didn't really see that. I'll take a look. He's laughing. How much return would you say you've gained in the quality of life that you gain from TikTok on a daily basis? I'm not there to get, I personally not there for better quality of life. I'm there to recruit people. So
I don't know. I watch some hilarious videos. It's
Improved my quality of life.
Yeah, I love it. I never thought I would say that, but yeah.
How did it, you know what? I guess it's made me laugh. There's times it's made me laugh. How has it improved your quality of life? Just really quick before we wrap this up. How has it improved your quality of life, Leah? In what ways?
Oh, I wouldn't say it's improved my quality of life, but it has definitely increased my level of humor, I would say, on a daily basis. I mean, the past couple of years have been pretty rough, and it has been a nice outlet to be able to just go online and watch people do hilarious things, you know, in good taste and fun, and share them with your friends and have a good laugh over funny stuff.
I could see that. Okay, Marissa, really quick, how would wrap us up? What would you say to that, or any other thing we discussed today?
It brings me joy, and that is definitely an improvement. So this sparks joy.
We can all use something that brings us a little bit of joy. And guys, I'm going to post a little bit later on today, hopefully today, or maybe tomorrow, sometime this week. One of our clients, I have to brag on this guy. He's awesome. Vince Goodwine. He bragged on us, and I want to definitely put that on my profile to show how a winning recruitment strategy can help you guys, whether you use this or not. I'm telling you, this stuff works. Don't just take our word for it. We've got about 3.5 million views to show for it, and literally thousands of applications. It does work. If you guys have any questions, feel free and tag any of us individually on LinkedIn. We can set up a conversation. If there's ways we can be a resource for you. Anything you want to add to close us out, either Leah or Marissa?
I saw that there's some more questions coming in, so we can answer those just in the chat, right?
Yes, we'll answer those. Guys who do have those extra comments, we'll answer those in the chat. I do have a hard stop. I'm so sorry. You guys were all amazing in the comments. Go ahead, Leah. You're gonna say something else?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that we should definitely do this again and, you know, talk more specifically about recruitment videos. And don't worry, I think it was James. He's like, sorry for distracting your session. Absolutely not. I think that this
it was great.
How those things go. So yeah, I think that I think that there's a need to talk more about videos in recruitment and marketing. So we'll definitely do this again.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
All right. Everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it up to you to.
I didn't know you had a hard stop.
Yeah, I didn't originally, but yeah.